Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're diving into a retail empire with a business model that honestly seems completely backwards at first glance, yet it is brilliantly engineered. We're going to see how Costco essentially rewrote the rules of retail by obsessing over just one thing, a really unique long-term profit model. Let's dive right in. So get this, we're starting with a massive paradox. Imagine intentionally making less profit on the stuff you sell, refusing to raise prices even when literally all your competitors are doing it, and on top of that, paying your employees way above the industry average. I mean, if you pitch that to investors today, it sounds like a terrible business strategy, right? Most executives would run for the hills. Yet, Costco took this exact formula and turned it into an absolute juggernaut, pulling in hundreds of billions in annual revenue and locking down some of the highest customer loyalty rates on the planet. Section 1. A terrible business strategy. Let's unpack this paradox. To really understand how this contrarian approach works, we actually have to rewind all the way back to 1983. That's when Jim Sinegal, who studied under Saul Price, the guy who basically invented the warehouse club concept, teamed up with Jeffrey Brotman to open the very first Costco in Seattle. And from day one, they stripped away absolutely everything luxurious about shopping. By ditching the beautiful decorated aisles and fancy displays for bare-bones industrial warehouses, super simple shelves, and honestly, just leaving products right on the shipping pallets, Costco slashed their overhead. Every single dollar they saved on presentation went straight into lowering prices for the consumer. They weren't trying to build a supermarket. They were designing a highly efficient machine. Which brings us to Section 2, the hidden profit engine. Where exactly is the money coming from? So, if they're aggressively ripping out all the presentation and intentionally taking way smaller margins on bare-bones merchandise, where does the long-term profit actually come from? Well, just look at this stark contrast. While traditional stores will easily mark up goods by 30, 40, or even 50% depending on what it is, Costco strictly caps its margins. Historically, that cap sits right around 14% for most products, and that single, seemingly crazy decision fundamentally changes the entire dynamic of their business. You see, that strict markup limit literally trains customers to know they're always getting a fair price. There's way less fear of overpaying, and let's be real, far less need to stand in the aisle checking Amazon on your phone to compare prices. Over time, that confidence becomes incredibly valuable, which leads us to the central thesis of our explainer today. Costco isn't just selling you a giant bulk pack of paper towels. They're selling you trust. So the answer to the whole profit mystery? It's been hiding in plain sight this entire time. It's the membership. Every single customer pays an annual fee simply for the privilege of walking through those warehouse doors. It sounds incredibly simple, but it completely flips traditional retail incentives completely upside down. This right here is the true engine driving their long-term profit model. Think about it. Traditional retailers make more money when they jack up prices. Costco, on the other hand, earns its money when members renew their memberships. Those are fundamentally different goals, aren't they? Costco only succeeds when its members feel like they are constantly winning. That means the company has to consistently deliver exceptional value every single day just to keep those renewal rates high. Because if members stop believing they're getting a great deal, they don't renew, and the whole profit engine just grinds to a halt. Let's move to Section 3, the paradox of less, and we'll see how limiting choice is actually a huge win. This whole system builds into an unassailable fortress, starting with a totally counterintuitive approach to consumer choice. If you walk into a standard supermarket, you might find, 50 different kinds of ketchup. But walk into a Costco, you're probably only going to find one or two. Instead of offering endless choices and stocking dozens of brands for every single category, Costco deliberately restricts variety. Now, at first glance, that sounds super restrictive for SS shoppers, but behind the scenes, it drives a massive operational advantage. This is basically their purchasing power flywheel in action. Fewer choices mean Costco is buying absolutely massive quantities of just one or two items. Those giant orders give them incredible bargaining power, which literally forces suppliers to lower their prices. Then those savings are passed directly back to the members, which in turn fuels that customer loyalty we talked about and drives those all-important membership renewals. It is just a perfect cycle that sustains their long-term profit. But hey, it's not just about bold ketchup. They pair those everyday low prices with a brilliantly manufactured sense of urgency, creating what everybody famously calls the treasure hunt. They'll just randomly drop luxury items. We're talking designer clothing, high-end watches, maybe crazy outdoor furniture that disappear just as fast as they arrive. As a shopper, you never know exactly what you're going to find, and that is exactly why you go in for paper towels and somehow leave with a kayak. That uncertainty uses our own curiosity to drive repeat visits. You don't want to miss out on a crazy deal, so you just keep coming back. Moving to Section 4, Symbols of Exceptional Value. Let's look at how they showcase this strategy. To constantly reinforce this feeling of winning and to really solidify that crucial element of trust, Costco relies on some very powerful, tangible symbols scattered all throughout the warehouse. Take their in-house brand, Kirkland Signature. This is far from being some cheap, generic alternative just meant to undercut the name brands. Costco actually works directly with highly respected manufacturers. They produce really high-quality goods under the Kirkland name to ensure exceptional value. And when members trust the Kirkland brand, it strengthens their overall trust in Costco, reducing buyer hesitation and completely cementing long-term loyalty. And then, of course, there is the most iconic symbol of them all. For decades, Costco has sold their legendary hot dog and soda combo for exactly $1.50. I mean, inflation has changed almost everything else in the world, but this price, it has stubbornly refused to move an inch. The psychology behind this is just fascinating. From a purely financial perspective, freezing that price makes zero sense. But actively taking a financial hit on a hot dog acts as this brilliant, almost cinematic branding exercise. It instantly signals to anyone who walks into that food court that Costco is deadly serious about value. Even if you literally never buy the hot dog, you know exactly what it represents. Which brings us to Section 5, the uncopyable system, dozens of ideas working together. So here's the million-dollar question. If this strategy of low markups, memberships, and high trust is so famous, why haven't competitors successfully duplicated the Costco empire? I mean, warehouse clubs exist all over the world, mimicking the massive buildings and the bulk packaging, but they almost always fall short. A huge part of the answer lies in decisions that completely puzzle traditional executives. Take their labor strategy, for example. Wall Street initially hammered Costco for paying higher wages and offering way better benefits than the industry standard. But Costco, they were playing the long game. They knew that investing in their employees actually lowered long-term operational costs. Experienced employees stayed longer, customer service was better, training costs plummeted, and workers just made fewer mistakes. Their efficiency completely skyrocketed. Competitors basically fail because they try to just mimic the bare bones layout or the bulk sizes, without actually committing to the entire interlocking system. It's really a house of cards. Think about it. If you remove the membership fees, the whole economic model collapses. If you try to sneak in higher markups, well, the trust weakens. Cut employee pay to save a quick buck, your service declines. If you expand too rapidly instead of carefully protecting your quality, the entire shopping experience suffers. Or if you increase variety, your purchasing leverage falls. If you change just one of these variables, the whole thing falls apart. It's this complete, unyielding ecosystem. Costco isn't just executing one good tactic, they're executing dozens of brilliant ideas working perfectly in tandem. And this is exactly why their management is so hyper-focused on maintaining quality rather than just maximizing their store count. Protecting that customer trust dictates a very slow, careful expansion over rapid, reckless growth. This isn't just an operational win, you guys. It's a massive psychological one. The ultimate edge is that customers don't just think Costco happens to have good prices. They genuinely believe Costco actually wants them to save money. That perception completely rewrites buyer behavior. It creates a compounding trust that secures lifetime loyalty, which, as we've seen today, is the absolute lifeblood of their long-term profit model. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this one thought to chew on. In an era where so many companies are just obsessed with squeezing out the maximum possible immediate profit from every single transaction, what kind of empire could you build if you played the long game instead?